Picture a Tuesday evening. You unroll a mat. Maybe it's in a studio with dim lights and soft music. Maybe it's in your living room, between the coffee table and the couch. Maybe there's no mat, just a chair, a screen, and someone talking about yoga. Your body's a little tired. Your mind's carrying the leftover noise of the day. A part of you is hoping this will help. A little less stress, a bit more space inside. And as you settle, the same quiet question might be there, almost embarrassing to say out loud. What is this actually for? Not on the surface. On the surface, it's easy to answer. It's for flexibility. It's for my back. It's to calm down. It's for my mental health. It's for spiritual growth. All reasonable. And yet, if you look closely, there can be a small sense of vagueness underneath. A sense that yoga is pointing to something important. Something just behind the postures and the breathing and the words. But that this something keeps slipping out of reach. Like trying to remember a dream that vanishes the moment you open your eyes. You can spend months, even years, around yoga, and still quietly feel, I'm missing the real thing. Everyone else seems to get it. I'm just doing it. So in this time together, we're not going to add another method, another sequence, another thing you're supposed to manage. We're going to look at one simple question. What is yoga actually pointing to? And why is it so easy to miss, even when you're surrounded by it? Let's start with how yoga usually shows up. For one person, it's basically stretching with better branding. For another, it's a kind of physical therapy. For someone else, it's a spiritual badge. For many, it's a break from the day. For some, it's a serious path with rules and rituals and goals. And in all of these versions, one thing is almost always assumed. Yoga is something you do to gradually become a better you, a calmer you, a stronger you, a more disciplined, awakened, compassionate, flexible, focused, healed you. Again, nothing wrong with any of that. Bodies becoming healthier is not a problem. Nervous systems settling is not a problem. Less reactivity, more clarity, that's welcome. But notice what quietly remains unquestioned. The sense that you are this person you're constantly trying to upgrade. The one with the history and the habits. The one with the anxious thoughts, the tight hips, the busy calendar. The one who isn't quite enough yet. But someday, with enough classes, enough effort, enough doing it right, might finally arrive. When that assumption goes unexamined, yoga easily gets folded into the same project as everything else. The productivity project, the self-improvement project, the fix-me project. The yoga mat just becomes a slightly quieter office for the same old manager in your head. So the question shifts from, how many sun salutations did I do? How many ways am I still trying to fix this imagined me? Because as long as yoga is treated only as a way to optimize this character you take yourself to be, what yoga is actually pointing to stays in the background, not because it's hidden, but because attention never turns in its direction. Here's the scene this episode is built around. Yoga is not primarily about improving what you experience. It is about recognizing what you are in relation to every experience. Another way of saying it, yoga is not aimed at the contents of the mind and body. It is pointing to the one that knows mind and body. That one that knows is what we're calling awareness. To make this very clear and simple. 1. Right now, there are experiences, sounds, sensations, thoughts, maybe emotions. All of that is happening. 2. All of those experiences are changing. A sound comes and goes. A sensation appears, moves, fades. A thought arises, then another replaces it. 3. Yet something doesn't change with each experience. The simple fact that you know they're happening. That knowing is what aware means here. You don't have to strain to create it. You don't have to believe in it. You don't even have to like it. It's the most basic, obvious part of your life. The same knowing that was there. when you were 5, when you were 15, and now, even though everything else about you has changed, your body is different. Your opinions are different. Your roles, your relationships, your worries, all different. But the simple sense of being here, knowing experience, has been consistent the whole time. That is awareness. It's not dramatic. It's not mystical. It's the very ordinary capacity by which you know anything at all. Anything you can notice. A sound, a sensation, a feeling, a thought, an image of yourself. All of that is something you are aware of, so it can't be the whole of what you are. If you can see a cloud, you're not the cloud. If you can hear a sound, you're not the sound. If you can notice a thought, you're not limited to the thought. In the same way, if you can notice the feeling of me, this sense of being a particular person, with a particular story, then even that me feeling is something appearing in awareness. Yoga, at its depth, is pointing you back to this awareness as your deeper identity, not as an idea to repeat, but as a living recognition. I am not just what is happening. I am that which knows what is happening. This is where yoga is often missed, because almost all our training aims our attention at what is happening, what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what will happen next. Even when we go inside, we usually just switch from outer objects to inner ones. Breath, energy, images, moods, spiritual experiences. All of those are still changing experiences. They come and go in the same way. So if yoga becomes a hunt for better and better experiences, more peace, more bliss, more insight, we stay busy rearranging the contents of awareness without ever clearly recognizing awareness itself. It's like improving every app on your phone, but never noticing the screen they all run on. The yogic turn is simple. From, how do I fix or upgrade what I'm experiencing, to what is this that knows every experience, from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep? Not as a puzzle, not as a belief, but as a direct, obvious fact. You don't need a special state for this. You could be bored, irritated, content, tired, and still see. There is boredom, and I know it. There is irritation, and I know it. There is contentment, and I know it. That, I know it, is awareness. Yoga is pointing to a shift of identity, from being the thing you know, to being the knowing itself, from being the storm, to recognizing yourself as the open sky. The storm passes through. Let's bring this into something that feels more like a normal day. Imagine someone named Maya. Maya is in her mid-30s. She works in a busy environment. Lots of emails, deadlines, a constant low-grade hum of pressure. She came to yoga because her back hurt, and because she was tired of feeling like her mind never stopped. The first few classes were beautiful. Just having an hour where no one could message her felt revolutionary. Over time, she started going regularly. She bought a good mat. She followed a few teachers online. She read a little about mindfulness, maybe a quote or two about being present. But quietly, something else crept in. In class, while holding a pose, she'd look around and think, her pose is much deeper than mine. I wobble so much. I should be more balanced. Everyone else seems so serene. Why am I still irritated? If I were genuinely into this, I'd practice every day. Real yogis don't get this angry at people. When she sat to meditate, it often turned into a private review session. My mind is too busy. I'm doing this wrong. I should have started younger. I'll never get to whatever they're talking about in these books. Yoga, which began as a relief, slowly became another measurement tool for her imagined inadequacy. From the outside, she looked like someone on the path. Inside, she felt like someone always falling short. Now let's see what happens if we look at this through the lens we've been talking about. Right in the middle of a class, Maya steps into a balancing pose. Let's say tree pose. She places her foot, hands together, tries to focus. Within seconds, a stream of thoughts starts. I'm going to fall. Don't fall. The teacher's looking. How is everyone else so still? I should practice more at home. I hate that I'm bad at balance. Along with those thoughts come waves of sensation. A tightening in the belly, heat in the face, a sense of smallness in the chest. Up until now, Maya has automatically taken all of this personally. The thoughts feel like her thoughts. The sensations feel like her failing. The emotion feels like her truth. From that standpoint, the only options seem to be fight with it, fix it, or collapse into it. Now imagine, not as a technique, but as a possibility, that in one of these moments, something very simple but very real is noticed. She's still in the pose. She's still wobbling. The same thoughts are happening. I'm bad at this. I should be better. But in the background, there's a clear, quiet recognition. These thoughts are here, and I know they're here. These tight feelings are here, and I know they're here. For a moment, her attention is on this knowing itself, not on improving the pose, not on fixing the thoughts, just on the simple fact. They are appearing, and I am the one who is aware of them. She doesn't have to say those words. She doesn't have to analyze it. It's more like a shift of perspective, from being inside the swirl to seeing the swirl, from a small step back. The thoughts continue for a while, then fade. The sensations surge, then soften. But the knowing of them, that aware presence, never came and went with them. It was there before, during, and after. Nothing dramatic happens outwardly. She doesn't suddenly hold a perfect pose. She doesn't glow with enlightenment. But in that moment, yoga has stopped being only about doing the pose right, or fixing her mind, or achieving calm. It has become a glimpse of what she is, beyond the pose, beyond the mind, beyond the calm and the chaos. The next day, she might completely forget. She might go back to measuring herself, comparing, striving. That's fine. The point is not to hold on to an idea. The point is that once this is genuinely tasted, even lightly, something in the way she relates to herself doesn't quite go back to the old shape, because now she knows. Even if she forgets again and again, I am not just the character in the pose. I am the aware space in which the entire scene appears. This is what yoga has always pointed to. Not a more impressive character, not a more spiritual character, but a loosening of your total identification with the character altogether. So we can return to the simple heart of this. Yoga is often introduced as a set of practices, postures, breath, focus, ethics, concentration. All of that can be useful, but underlying all of it is a single, quiet pointing. Whatever you can observe cannot be the whole of what you are. You can observe the body as it changes, the breath as it moves, the mind as it thinks, emotions as they rise and fall, even the sense of me, trying to improve, trying to control, trying to get somewhere. All of this is content. And there is also the simple, undeniable fact that it is known. That knowing is what we call awareness. It doesn't get older, doesn't get more flexible, doesn't become more or less worthy. It doesn't become spiritual on retreat and unspiritual at work. It doesn't gain value when you're peaceful or lose value when you're messy. It just knows. Yoga, at its depth, is the gradual or sudden recognition of yourself as that knowing. Bodies will still age. Moods will still swing. Circumstances will still change. But the basic sense that I am only this body, only this mind, only this story, loses some of its grip. And with that, the frantic need to endlessly upgrade that story can relax. Practice, if you have one, doesn't have to stop. You can still move, breathe, sit, learn. But the motivation shifts. Instead of practicing to become worthy or to become someone else, you might practice simply as an expression of what you already are. This quiet, ordinary awareness moving as a body, awareness moving as breath, awareness listening, thinking, resting. Nothing needs to be forced here. There's no special state you have to reach. It's enough, for now, that this different way of seeing has been laid out in front of you. And as this fades out, you might quietly notice from where you've been listening, from the shifting thoughts and feelings on the surface, or from that simple awareness that has been here, silently, the whole time.